Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2023-24 season. My name is Dan and today we are going to have a look at my updated Gameweek 1 draft for you guys. Hopefully you're going to enjoy the changes I've made to my teams. If you do, please do drop a like, do subscribe if you're new around here. Let's have a look at this team. So today, just to flex on everyone, I've decided to leave 1 million in the bank. You're going to see why very, very shortly, but this is interesting and it's going to be a little bit differential, which is going to be a theme of this video, which I hope you're going to enjoy. But in defense, we are going to go a little bit more template. So let's start off in goal. We're going to go for Aaron Ramsdale to start ourselves off. Decent fixtures in these opening games. Ramsdale is, of course, a goalkeeper who's capable of making saves as well. And we're really, really feeling that Arsenal are going to be able to keep a clean sheet or two just because of the kind of invigoration of their defense with Saliba coming back from injury, Declan Rice being added to the squad as well. Hopefully we're going to see a few more clean sheets from Arsenal as we did at the sort of beginning of last season when they did have a full strength defense. So hopefully that is going to happen once again. Of course, I am still waiting for some other news around goalkeepers, so I'm waiting to see what Raya does at Brentford, because if he leaves, Flecken at 4.5 is going to be a real nice option. And also, I'm interested to see if Manchester United get a new goalkeeper, whether that's Onana or someone else, and what price he will come in at. If Onana comes in to Manchester United at 5 million, I would definitely think about going that route as well. So that's definitely an option. But for now, I feel like Ramsdale is probably the most popular goalkeeper to go for right now, and for good reason. He's just a very, very solid player to go for. In defense, we still have got Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he is going to be my only Liverpool player in this team, which I feel like you've got to have some Liverpool in your team somehow, and Trent is probably the way to go if you can't quite afford to get Salah. We've got that Bournemouth fixture in game 2, and the Chelsea fixture, I do think there's a possibility of a clean sheet. And even that Newcastle and Aston Villa team, if we see Liverpool the same way as they played at the end of last season, they were picking up a lot of clean sheets, and I feel like we can get that from Trent, plus the set pieces that he takes, plus his creativity, plus the occasional goals, shooting from range, particularly when he's playing slightly further up the pitch in the kind of a midfield position. So to spend 8 million on a nailed-on Liverpool midfielder who also gets clean sheet points, I don't think that's too bad, really. I know a lot of people are struggling of what Liverpool player to go for. If they can't afford Trent, they can't afford Salah. Well, Trent is probably the Liverpool attacker to go for, and he's not even an attacker. So very, very easy decision for me there. Next up, Luke Shaw. First time he has been in my team. I feel like a lot of people are going for Luke Shaw, and I kind of understand why. He is a little bit expensive, but these opening fixtures against Wolves and Nottingham Forest in 1 and 3 in particular, we are hoping for clean sheets from the Manchester United boys, and they did keep a decent amount of clean sheets last season. They were a pretty solid defence, and Luke Shaw does like to bomb forward, get involved in the attacks. We saw him back to his best at the end of last season and taking those corners as well from the left-hand side. That was very nice to see from Luke Shaw. So we are going to get clean sheets. We are going to potentially get attacking returns from Luke Shaw, and another thing with Shaw is that he does like to take a bonus point or two, particularly when Manchester United don't score a whole load of goals, and we often don't see Manchester United scoring too many goals, which means the defenders, when there's a clean sheet, are often the guys picking up the bonus points, and Luke Shaw is always a candidate for that. However, saying that, he is 5.5 million, which I do feel like is a little bit out of my comfort zone considering the great defensive options at 5 million or less. So I would be more than willing to switch Luke Shaw and Ramsdale to a Manchester United goalkeeper and Gabriel in defence for Arsenal. If I could make that change when the new Man United goalkeeper comes in, I feel like I'd be pretty happy with that. So we're going to wait and see what happens in terms of that. If the Man United goalkeeper is 5.5 million, then maybe we have to reconsider that. And finally, in defence, we've got Pervis Estupiñán. I would say he is probably the most essential defender in the game, a must-have, and maybe you'll see that reflected in the defenders tier list video that is coming up very, very soon on this channel, and we'll see just how highly I rate Estupiñán in terms of all of the defenders. But I'll give you a clue, guys. It's pretty high. Luton Town, Wolves and West Ham, the opening 3 fixtures. We're expecting 3 clean sheets out of 3 in that. But moreover, Estupiñán super attacking on that left-hand side of the Brighton defence. Going to be getting assists, going to be scoring goals. He often runs through one-on-one with the goalkeeper and is generally involved in the attacking play, crossing, cutting the ball across to the other attackers there. So love Pervis Estupiñán a lot. In midfield, we've got Saka. So Saka, another mainstay of of the team. He obviously ranked very, very highly in the midfielders tier list I uploaded a couple of days ago. He was the #1 most essential midfielder to buy in my opinion. So yeah, he's always going to be in my team. Great underlying numbers there for Arsenal on penalties as well, and nailed on. So you've got the trifecta of things really that you're looking for with attacking players. Often nailed on, the best kind of attacking numbers for their team, and also penalties. It's really, really a nice combo, particularly when you add set pieces to that as well. We see Saka take corners. Yeah, it's just something that we very, very much like. I feel like 8.5 million is an absolute snip for Saka. Expected him to be 9.5 million this season. He is kind of almost a premium player. He's probably Arsenal's most premium player in terms of FPL, and therefore an absolute must-have in your fantasy teams. We've got Bruno Fernandes in here as well. I'm expecting him to up the creative numbers, and hopefully his teammates scoring a few more goals this season, particularly with the new forward being added to the squad. That's going to be very interesting for United. Like we said about Shaw, we got some good fixtures in the opening games, and that Spurs game as well. I feel like there's going to be a good opportunity for some goals against a Spurs team that is still learning the ropes in a new, very, very attacking system under Ange Postecoglou. So could get some goals there for Manchester United. I worry for Spurs at the start of the season whilst they just get their stuff together, I guess. But yeah, Fernandes on penalties, nailed on. Probably the most creative player in the Manchester United team, one of the most creative players in the entire Premier League. So he's going to be racking up assists and making shots outside the box, inside the box, runs, from late, and we're going to hopefully see him as a slightly more attacking of the two midfielders out of Fernandes and Mason Mount. I know some people think, oh, Mason Mount's going to be a bit more attacking, but remember, previously, Fernandes was partnered up with sort of Christian Eriksen in that midfield, and I feel like that Mount is probably going to be able to put in a bit more of a defensive shift than Christian Eriksen. So therefore, maybe that does actually free up Fernandes a little bit more to do what he does best and get further forward up the pitch. He's Manchester United's best player, so it would be a bit of a shame if Ten Hag decided to play him a bit deeper. I'm not really sure that's going to happen, to be fair. Martinelli up next. So he is a new addition to the team, and Martinelli is a player who I've been really, really trying to squeeze into my team somehow, and I found a way of doing that today, which I'm going to share with you guys. But Martinelli, I feel like whenever he was fit and available last season, he was just banging in goals, getting so many FPL points on the counter-attack, on that left wing, cutting inside, seems to be the last man, when Arsenal are on the attack, on the transition, and we saw so much of that. A little bit of skill and trickery on that left wing as well to try and cut inside and score goals. That way, cutting across the ball to his teammates. There was a lot of things to love about Martinelli, and because of his age as well, he's the player who is getting better and better year on year. If he keeps improving at the rate he has been recently over the last few years, then this season, he could very easily be the highest scoring player in this Arsenal team in terms of FPL. So, can definitely see Martinelli with a much more directness. He's much more of a kind of a goal scorer, I guess, than Saka, who I feel like Saka, yes, he scores goals, but he's got more creative strengths. Martinelli is a goal scorer through and through, and we really, really like that he is continually building on his goal scoring numbers season after season. Can he get a 20 goal season this year? Maybe that's a little bit too far, but I think we can definitely see him hit 15 to 18 goals this season, and if so, that's going to be a lot of FPL points. Phil Foden is my next pick, and I definitely want to try and get multiple Man City attackers in my team for this run. There's just two good fixtures here, two newly promoted teams in the opening 3 fixtures, then Fulham after that as well. There's going to be goals for this Manchester City team. We see it every season. City, the highest scoring team. And we've got players like De Bruyne injured. We've got Gundogan out. Mahrez, not sure what's going to be happening with him, to be fair. And Foden is going to hopefully be available for more game time. It's definitely a risky pick. He's only 11% owned. And we kind of seen, like I say, we're going for a couple of differentials in this team. Martinelli, 14%. Foden, 11%. These players are a little bit differential. So I kind of like that as well. Not many people are going to be seeing the benefits of the points from these players. And of course, because they're listed as midfielders, they're going to get clean sheet points as well, which is going to be nice for teams like Man City, who will keep clean sheets, but it's difficult to pick an individual defender to go for. And we've got the extra point for goals as well. which is very nice. So attackers from these teams that should score goals, Arsenal, Man City, these teams are going to score goals. So we need to get attacking players from their team, and that's kind of what we've tried to do here. And we're going to finish off the midfield with Mitoma. So Caldo Mitoma opens the season against Luton Town. That's going to be hopefully a really big scoreline, and I just feel like we could really see some high scores in that Brighton team. Now, I'm only going for 2 Brighton players in this draft, and I'll tell you the reason why. Yes, I love these opening 3 fixtures, but after that, it does get a little bit more difficult. And Brighton, from sort of game week 6, 7 onwards, it's really quite a tough run for them. So just be aware of the difficult run that is upcoming for Brighton. If you overload on them too much, you are probably going to be forced into a transfer, and trying to find a player at the right price point for Brighton to swap with Brighton players might be a little bit difficult. So having too many could cause problems down the line, and that's all I'm kind of thinking of here. I want to pick a team that is good for more than just 4 game weeks, because I want to minimize the amount of transfers that I'm forced to make, and instead be able to use my transfers on what I actually want to make, rather than being kind of backed into a corner or anything like that. And when I look through the midfielders in particular in FPL this year, they look fantastic. I mean, there's so many midfielders that I haven't got in this team that I easily could have. Marcus Rashford, for example. We could go for Jack Grealish. We could go for Maddison. We could go for those Liverpool midfielders as well. There really is a lot of options. Even some of the cheaper guys, a lot of options. So that's one of the reasons why I've decided to leave 1 million in the bank and have a fairly strong midfield. All of these midfielders in a similar price bracket, with the exception of Mitoma. We've got the expensive guys, Saka, Fernandes, maybe Martinelli in the middle there, Foden kind of in the middle price range, and the cheaper Mitoma as well, plus the 1 million in the bank, really kind of means I can go anywhere other than De Bruyne and Salah. Those are the only 2 midfielders I would not easily be able to get to, and there's so many midfield options that we really, like I say, we can go anywhere, and we have the choice, we have the option. All of these players are players you could probably pretty comfortably keep, with the maybe exception of Foden, and you might look to remove Mitoma if the output is not fantastic, which is definitely possible from the Japanese man. If the output isn't quite there and the upcoming fixtures are looking tough, you're probably going to be looking to remove Mitoma and Foden. If things go wrong, you know, again, a player you might be looking to remove. And with 1 million in the bank, we can go anywhere. We could go Mitoma to Maddison. We can go Foden to, we can go to one of the Liverpool midfielders, or we can, of course, go for Maddison, or we can switch him to Grealish. We can't quite afford Rashford, but we're not far off. We could do Martinelli to Rashford. We could do Saka or Fernandes to Rashford if we wanted to as well. Heung-min Son at 9 million, we could go there as well. Loads and loads of options in midfield, and I feel like this team that I've created today really does take advantage of that. Moving up front, guys, we've got Erling Haaland, of course. He is in every draft that I've seen from every person ever. I mean, guys, is there anyone out there who has not got Erling Haaland in their FPL team? And if not, please tell me why. That seems absolutely crazy to me to go without him. 85% owned at time of recording, and I think that's probably going to go up as well. And we're going to finish off the attack with Yoane Wissa. So I'm calling Wissa the Bald Tony, because that's exactly what he is. Whilst Tony is out until January, we need a nice bald Tony to take his place. And that's exactly what Wissa is going to be doing. He's going to be the central striker in a kind of a 3-forward formation for Brentford. Even when they go to a 2-forward formation, we do see Wissa partnering Mbeumo in the 2 forward positions. No, he's not on penalties, but his numbers at the end of last season were really, really impressive. He was scoring goals, he was getting assists, and he was being that new central striker for Brentford and doing a very good job. Now, I've recently heard comments from the Brentford manager, and we have basically seen him say, look, we've pretty much done our business. The only thing that might happen now is Raya might leave the club, but we're really, really happy with where the club is, the squad is at. And yeah, we're not looking to really add anything to the team unless something, you know, a really good deal comes up, then maybe we can do some business. But they're not looking to add any more players, which means whilst a lot of people were thinking, hey, are Brentford going to try and replace Tony in the summer? Are they going to try and buy a new striker? Well, it doesn't look like that's going to happen at this present moment. And if that's the case, then Yoane Wissa at 6 million, the Bald Tony, 3.6% ownership, super differential, could be the guy to really take people to the next level, like take your team to the next level. Yes, it's all well and good having a nice template team, but if you got that one differential that scores like, I don't know, even like 6, 7, 8 points in game week 1 that is different from everyone else, that is going to see you get the edge in each individual game week. And I can see Wissa being picked up by a lot of FPL managers as they kind of realise what he is, what he's about, what his role is in the Brentford team, because he's a little bit of an unknown quantity to most people who don't geek out over Premier League football. But still a really good pick. Like I say, the Spurs game I love. After that, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth. I love these fixtures as well. Think there could be goals for Brentford, and if there is, it's going to be Wissa and it's going to be Mbeumo. I think we all pretty much agree with that one. Wissa, I actually feel like is maybe slightly more reliable in front of goal over a slightly more longer period there. So something to consider before making that decision. But Mbeumo is just as valid, and I feel like you could easily switch Martinelli and Wissa for Jesus and Mbeumo. That combination works perfectly as well. This is the combination to be a bit different I've decided to go for today. Whether I bottle this combination by game week 1 deadline, I don't know. I guess that remains to be seen. On the bench, guys, we've got Areola, of course, still. We've got a bit of a weaker kind of defence here with Baldock and Bayer, 4 million defenders, but they are 2 nailed on 4 million defenders. And what I actually found is that if we do need to rely on our bench, which I really hope we won't do, because of course with modern Premier League football there's so many substitutions that unless we see an injured player, if your player gets benched, you know, if Phil Foden gets benched or Martinelli gets benched, they're probably still going to come on for a 1-pointer, so you're never really going to need your bench, particularly at the start of the season, before there's any injuries to worry about and suspensions to worry about. So I'm not too worried about that, really. Of course, I do have 1 million. I could potentially upgrade one of Baldock or Bayer to a Rico Henry or a Botman. I do kind of like the look of Pau Torres, who's just joined Aston Villa at 4.5 million. Kind of like the idea of going for him as a backup, but I was kind of looking through the fixtures, and when you're spending this much money on Trent Alexander-Arnold, Luke Shaw, and Pervis Estupiñán, 3 pretty expensive defenders, let's be honest, it's kind of a case where you're never going to rotate them, that you're going to play them against any team. They're all attacking fullbacks, so you're not just looking for the good fixtures. You're looking for any fixture, you would still play them. You know, I play Luke Shaw against Arsenal. I play Trent against Newcastle. Never going to rotate these guys. So I only really need those bench players to kind of cover me, you know, if one of my players doesn't play at all. And I can't really see that happening, to be honest. I think that's going to be fine. Of course, we've got Cameron Archer there, the last guy on the bench. But Baldock, Bayer, if they pick up 2 points per game, I'm fine with that. But they play for Burnley and Sheffield United, 2 teams that I expect to keep a couple of clean sheets across the season. I don't actually think they're too bad. Baldock, of course, is capable of attacking returns as well. Pretty kind of an attacking wing back there that you will get a little bit of output from, to be fair. So there is benefits to these players, and it frees up just that little bit of extra money. We could always spend it later. Like I said, I like having a little bit of money in the bank just to give me that little bit of flexibility. I think that's one of my core beliefs in FPL is flexibility and being able to be flexible. I think that's one of the mistakes I made at the start of last season, where I didn't start the season very well, is not being quite flexible enough. I didn't have enough players at the right price points where there are easy players to switch to and from. I didn't have enough money in the bank to make a Kane to Haaland switch either. So these are kind of the problems I'm trying to rectify from last season and try and correct some of the mistakes that I made and hopefully move forward to that. But also another one of my key kind of principles of FPL is be different where you believe in it. When you believe in Martinelli, when you believe in Foden, when you believe in Wissa, it doesn't matter that no one else is going for them. If you believe in them and you know you have numbers to back them up, you have the eye test, and you watch football to back them up that you think they're going to be good, then why not go for them? If you believe in these players, why not go for them? Even if not everyone else does. So yeah, that's something else I'm going to be trying to add to my game. Whether I'll end up with 3 differentials like this by game week 1, I'm not sure, but these are certainly 3 differentials that I do really, really like the look of. So there we go. Let's put captain's armband on Erling Haaland. I think that's pretty obvious. We're going to put the vice captain on Saka once again. And before we end this video, I do want to have a look and see what the AI thinks of this team, because I know a lot of people have been talking about the AI recently and how the AI is going to kind of impact FPL, and I think we'll have a look at Fantasy Football Hub's My Team tool to see just how highly this team is rated and how maybe I can improve it. Okay, so I've loaded up my team into the My Team tool on Fantasy Football Hub. Of course, guys, if you do want to check out this tool, you can check it out for absolutely for free. The link is at the top of the description there for you to have a look. But what we've got here is a 92% team rating, and I think, generally speaking, 92% or more is probably where you want to go for. If you're below 90%, that's probably where you're going to, you know, maybe see your team be kind of not optimal, I guess, not looking so good. But I think we're looking pretty good at 92%, so that's pretty nice. And we've got some very highly rated players here. Of course, I've kind of ordered the players, the suggested players, by 4 game week predictions, so the 4 game week predicted points. And we are missing a couple of players with high predicted points. Kane and Salah, obviously. Rashford, interestingly, is here. I could potentially make the switch from Bruno Fernandes to Rashford, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the suggested transfers to see what this artificial intelligence prediction tool is going to recommend that I do to change up my team just a little bit. Okay, so this is pretty interesting. So I think sell Shaw and buy John Stones for John Stones clean sheet points, I guess. Wants me to sell Martinelli and buy Rashford. I'm not sure that's something I want to do. And it is saying sell Foden and buy Mbumo. Okay, so these are some interesting suggestions. I definitely see that the combination of Jesus and Mbumo is preferred by the AI to Wissa and Martinelli. So can I beat it in that situation? I'm not sure. I don't think we're going to recommend buying Mbumo. I'm not too convinced by that one because I've already got Wissa in my team, and I'm going to stick with Wissa, I think. So I'm going to say don't recommend Mbumo. See what else it's got for me. All right, so we've got some new recommended transfers. It's saying maybe sell Shaw, buy Pinnock, sell Martinelli, buy Rashford, and sell Foden and buy Ødegaard. Okay, so going for the Ødegaard route rather than the Martinelli route. It's definitely something I could do, to be fair. I do like the idea of having Rashford in my team, but can we combine both Fernandes and Rashford? Maybe by removing Luke Shaw and doubling up on the Manchester United attack, that could work potentially. So definitely some food for thought here. So that's what the AI is saying about my team. If you want to go check out and get your own team analysed and rated, then do check the link in the description. Of course, there is a 50% discount on Fantasy Football Hub as well, if you want to get the full version with all the bells and whistles on at the moment. So do make sure you'll use the link and get that discount whilst you still can, because honestly, these tools just save my life. They save my FPL. They really do. I don't know what I would do without them, and there's plenty more stuff on there as well. But yeah, that is my team, a 92% rated team at present. Maybe we can see if we can bump that up a little bit higher for next video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you did enjoy this one, please do drop a like, do subscribe if you're new around here as well. That would be massively, massively appreciated. We've got a few more videos to come over the next couple of days. Some of them I think you're really going to like. Of course, the tier list videos are going to return probably on Saturday as well. But aside from that, guys, thank you so much for watching once again, and I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.